Hello, third grade Virtual Academy classes, and welcome to another week of online art. What we're going to be creating this week is symmetrical insect drawings. So I'm going to show you my example, and then we'll talk about how to create these through a really cool trick. So here is mine. I did a type of beetle. I'm going to show you a slideshow, and there's all kinds of examples on there, and I just kind of took some creative ideas from one of those beetles and I made my own. You can also see that I used some of the coloring that we practiced last week with our analogous color blending. For this project, you will need crayons, a white paper, and a metal spoon. See if you have a metal spoon. So let's go ahead and talk about symmetrical insects and see what that means. So let's talk about symmetrical insects. So we have talked about the idea of symmetrical shapes before, but we're going to revisit this idea. So symmetry or symmetrical means that something is the same on both sides. So you can see these pictures on the left of the drawings. They have a line of symmetry down the center. And all of these lines of symmetry are vertical, which means they go up and down right through the middle. Sometimes the line of symmetry might be laying down horizontally, or it could even be diagonal if your shape is tilted. So this flower, for example, has many lines of symmetry. This is one line of symmetry, but there's another line of symmetry that would go right through here, and there's even a line of symmetry that would cut it like this. But the butterfly only has one line of symmetry because you can only fold it one way and have the same thing on both sides. Same thing with the heart, the ladybug, and everything else. So these are symmetrical drawings, and then you can see in this photograph of a beetle, we have a line of symmetry that goes right through the middle because it shows us that everything is the same on both sides. We have the same number of legs and they're in the same places. We have the same shell up here. We have the same little shape right here. I'm not quite sure what that is, and maybe these are wings. We have the same thing happening on both sides. So this is a symmetrical insect. It is the same on both sides and it has 6 legs. Here are a bunch more symmetrical insects. So we have a ladybug here. So with this one, you have to imagine the line of symmetry goes right through here, right through the middle. And on the ladybug, even the polka dots are symmetrical. Here we have a different type of beetle with a beautiful pattern on its back, and it's symmetrical. A little hard to see over here, but it is a symmetrical pattern. Same thing here, we have symmetry, and same thing on all these down here. A bumblebee is symmetrical. And this, I believe, is called a stag beetle, and it almost looks like it has more than 6 legs, but I think these are all parts of its face. Talk about gross. So we are going to create our own drawing of a symmetrical insect. You can draw a bug just like you see it here. So for example, you can do a bee if that's what you want to do, or you could create your own kind of bug invention where you take maybe the colors from this one, but the shape of this one, and maybe the horns of this one. So have fun with it. For this project, you're going to need paper, crayons, and a metal spoon. So let's get started. For our symmetrical insects, we are going to start on a white piece of paper. And in order to create a symmetrical shape, we're going to create a line of symmetry on our paper. So you have to decide if your bug is going to be long across the paper or if your insect is going to be tall down the paper. I've decided I want to do a tall beetle that has a few different sections, so I'm going to make my line of symmetry vertically, which means the tall way. So in order to make that line of symmetry, I'm actually just going to fold my paper in half. So if you want a tall bug, you have to make a tall paper. So that means I'm going to hold my paper the long way and fold it like this. Some people call this hot dog style, but I call this a vertical fold. Crease it down the center. And now I have a vertical line of symmetry in my paper. So now we're ready to start drawing our bug. So here's the most important part. If you want to make a perfectly symmetrical shape, when you have a folded paper, you're only drawing half of it. I'm going to show you how this looks before we get started on the whole thing. So I'm just going to draw one shape to start with. I'm going to do the beetle that looks like it has 3 different sections. I'm going to start with the beetle's head. So I'm going to start up here. I'm going to leave room for an antenna, but I'm going to do a head shape. I'm using a crayon. You must use a crayon. If you have oil pastels, those work also. You have to press very hard. Sometimes you might even need to go over it a few times. and I'll show you why. So I've drawn half of it. So now I'm going to close my paper, close it up, and use my spoon. Here's why we use the spoon. I'm going to use the back of the spoon to rub, rub, and create friction and actually create a little bit of heat, and make sure you're rubbing everywhere that head is. And it should, when I open it, transfer that crayon over to the other side. So once it's transferred over, I can take my crayon and just trace it, make it look the same. So that's how we're going to do our whole picture. So now, keep in mind, you're only doing half of it. Now I'm going to do the second part of the body, which is a little bit bigger, like that. Go over it a few times, leave a really thick line. Close your paper, use your spoon, rub, rub, rub everywhere that paper is. Rub, rub, rub. Open it up, and now I have that half. So I can just trace it again and try to make it look just as thick. Oops. All right, let's do our bug's bottom part. This part's going to be the biggest of all. So this part's actually going to come out like this. And remember, you're only drawing half of it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to close it. My beetle is looking a little like a snowman. Rub, 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 rub. Open it up. Perfect. Trace this part. Trace it again. All right, so now I'm going to add antennas here at the top. We can get a little fancy with these. Give them a little curl. Go over them again. Nice thick line. Fold it. Rub, rub, rub. Check it out. Perfect. Trace it again. Oh, I got a little off my line. That's all right. Okay, let's do some legs. So insects have 6 legs, and they kind of have these weird elbows, kind of like we have elbows. That's what my bug's front leg is going to look like. And then I might as well do the other legs while I'm here. I'm kind of looking at one of these pictures to make my beetle. Oops, that bottom got really thick. Let's do that. And let's do one more. Let's make it thick at the top. Let's do that. Let's make it thick at the top. And then they'll get skinnier as they go. Here we go. Perfect. Let's close it up. Rub, 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 rub. Oh, I must have had a little crayon on the back of it. That's all right. Oh, I missed a spot right there. Do you see that? I missed a spot, so we're going to close it up again. Right there. Oh, perfect. All right, so now I'm going to outline this. Color over it. Oops, his hand got a little thick. I'll just make this one match. There we go. All right, so now after I have my legs done, you can do a bunch of different things. You can do a face on your bug, on your insect. You can do a pattern on their outside. You can do stuff in the background if you would like to do the stuff in the background. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna draw my line of symmetry in the middle of his bottom 2 sections, because that's what it looks like on the picture that I'm looking at. So he actually has this line, and then in that middle section he's got one little pattern, and it kind of goes like this. So I'm going to do this one little pattern. I'm going to close it up, transfer that pattern, open it, trace it. And then I think my beetle is ready for coloring. So there is my symmetrical beetle picture. You can color this however you want. You can use crayons if you want. You can use markers. You can use really anything. So have some fun coloring it, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.